I just think you mentioned Danny Rohl, man. I don't know what Scott thinks, but when you get a full Select Park singing the Rangers manager's name, you're cooked. I mean, he's listen. The word seems to be that Rangers are going to back him through the summer. He is literally having the most uphill task now trying to get back from this. We've seen it before with Rangers managers in this kind of movie, and they don't ever win it back fully. I just think Rohl's now in this situation now that he's got some task now to win it. I don't know how he wins it over. You get the whole ground singing your name, you're cooked.
Yeah. Some fans have made up their minds already, Daniel. I mean, I've said for a couple of weeks on here now that I thought if Rangers had finished the season strongly and finished, even if it was second but narrowly behind Hearts, then he'd went into next season with a lot of support, a lot of backing because of the job he's done since October. But you can't underestimate how disastrous this last fortnight has been for him. Rangers only lost two games the whole season before the split. They've now lost 3 in a row. Now, I wrote a piece the other day about the blame that the players must take, and I think this group of players have to take a massive share of the blame. But ultimately, the buck stops with the manager. We all know that, and he's under major pressure now because a lot of these fans will want a change now. They'll not want to see this repeat performance again at the start of a season where they got off to a tricky start, and by October they're looking for a new manager. I think if there's any doubts at all in the minds of Andrew Kavanagh or the Rangers board, they're going to need to act now because they can't go through that situation again at the start of next season.
He's definitely paying for the sins of the summer right enough in terms of the players he's been lumped with.
Of course.
So he's walked into a bit of a mess. But he's still got to think, if you can't get the better of a Celtic team at their perceived worst, how are they going to fare when they do get back to their best? And he's not shown enough to give people confidence that he's going to cope with that, because they've been put out of the cups by Celtic both times, and then now lost pretty heavily here eventually to end their league hopes. Which might have been, listen, back in October, nobody really predicted Rangers win the title race. No. But again, if you say Andrew Kavanagh back in August, by the way, if you get 80 points this year, you win the league. Mm-hmm. He'd been up his hands. He'd be like, are you kidding me? Is that all we need? Usually it's 95. So he's actually been given an easier run this season. Well, I'm talking about the whole season. Aye. But the way it's transpired, they've managed to blow it. So I think he's in big bother. I just think he's in major
also
bother.
Just, a wee thing, but he was lauded when he came in by players that had worked with him, other coaches, about his tactical nous and all the rest of it. 37-year-old, one of Europe's up-and-coming coach. He's been with Germany, been with Bayern Munich. He's had 4 games now against 74-year-old Martin O'Neill, the wily old fox, and can I get the better of him? Can I get the better of him in any of these games? And again, that feeds into the minds of the supporters as well. That kind of stuff doesn't get done well. And irrespective of who's the manager here next season, I think a lot of punters already have given up the ghost with Danny Rohl.
But I tell you, it's interesting because he got a lot of credit, and deservedly so, for dragging Rangers out of the early season Russell Martin fever dream into a title chase. But here, as they currently sit, they're third. They're going to finish third, and they're 8 points adrift of Hearts. So what has actually been achieved? He got a great deal of credit for getting to within touching distance, and then for 24 hours going top of the table. But ultimately, it's meant nothing. The Rangers are as far adrift as they were when he took over. I'm not one of the ones, by the way, that thinks that he's guaranteed a free pass on this and that he's guaranteed to start next season. I'm not. I think that the days ahead could be really interesting at Levels, because I think big decisions are going to have to be made, and it might very well include whether or not they need to find themselves a new manager.